Background: early on in our relationship, we were long distance and it was rough on both of us. We both cheated on one another, although my cheating was longer and more extensive. After we moved in together, he found a confession journal of mine why I didn't padlock the damn thing. I'll never know, read it, confronted me, and also told me about his indiscretion. There was crying and a few days of bewilderment, but we got over it. Interlude: after getting very drunk at my best friend's wedding in 2006. I had a one-night stand with a friend of the bride who was just coming off a divorce. Damn, I played it off in my head as if I was doing a public service for the guy, getting him back on the track of actually like himself, which did happen. Actually, he went on to be a major player in a successful gubernatorial campaign, and ended up copping a job in the administration. However, after my walk of shame in the morning, I told myself no more. I wasn't going to do this to anymore, and I was going to turn over a new leaf. So, I moved in with him. There was the thing with the journal, and then nothing. He proposed, and we ended up getting married in 2009. The problem: 2 months after our wedding, I dropped my newly minted husband off at the airport to go away for a conference. Since I had driven to a major city to do this, I looked up a friend who lived in the city to hang out and catch up. We'll call him Dan. 2 things about Dan: he's like a gentleman's gentleman. He opens doors, scoots you into your seat, and pays for everything. Chivalry is not dead in his eyes. Second, he towers over my 59 height with his 65 height. He's the only person I've ever met that makes me feel dainty. Either way, we hang out, talk, eat, drink a fuck ton of alcohol. Driven to confess by the ethanol, Dan blurts out how he hasn't had sex in over a year, and is beginning to doubt himself with women, and has even tried to think about guys. I make the appropriate soothing noises, and the evening goes on. We drink even more alcohol, including stopping on the way back to his apartment to pick up tonic for G&Ts. And once we get back to the apartment, we continue to chat. Dan had been unable to come to our wedding because of a work commitment, so I had actually brought the DVD with our wedding pictures on it to show him. That right, I was showing him my wedding pictures when things got nasty. I was sitting on his lap, because of no other chairs in his bedroom, and realized that I was wearing garters and stockings because they were pressed into him. One thing led to another, and all of a sudden, I was on the floor, in front of his fireplace, moaning for all I was worth, with the skirt of my dress hiked up around my waist. Things moved to bed eventually, and I'm pretty sure between the two of us, we woke up both his roommates. I later found out that it was the first time he had ever received oral. He had just turned 29, and also his first time doing anal. In my strange brain, I was kind of proud of all this, and very glad that he felt so much better about his sexuality and his prowess with women. Oh, and let me tell you, Redditors, in his year off, he had not lost his skill. The 3 or 4 times we had sex that night was fucking fantastic. In fact, I can still remember how sore my pussy felt the next day from him. God, it was good. However, on the drive back home the next morning, I had an attack of conscience. He'd already sent me some lurid texts, and one photo of his dick. I flipped out on him. I'm a married woman, you can't be sending my shit like that. And on in that fashion. It was pretty horrible of me. I told him not to text me until I figured out my brain a little better. Conclusion: and that brings us up to today, my friends. I've somehow managed to not tell my husband, keep up the friendship with Dan, and I have absolutely no intention of ever telling my husband. It would do nothing but hurt him. And, if I'm being honest with myself, having sex with Dan was a public service, and I had been faithful for over 3 years. Mainly the reason I'm confessing is that I'm weakening again, and I'm trying to figure out if I can see Dan again. I got pregnant by another man that I cheated on my husband with and possibly planned to make him think it's his. Update: so my baby was born 2.5 months ago, and I introduced the baby to both my husband and his bio father, and both love the baby and want to be the father. I created a messed up situation for all 3 of them. Trust me, I know. In my mind, I would rather allow my husband to be the father because he treats the baby equally to our other children. And of course I love him. However, he also throws in my face all the time that I made the baby with a different man, and it's obvious. I don't want my child to hear this when they are old enough to understand and feel bad. Also, I'm unsure of whether my husband wants to lie and tell the baby that it's his DNA or not. I'm afraid to ask him honestly, but I don't want to raise my baby on that lie either. TBH. Original MLY husband and I have been together for over a decade now. I made the mistake of cheating with another man for the first time and got pregnant. Fuck my luck. I've been seeing this dude around the neighborhood for years, and he usually would try to get in my pants, but I was in love with hubby. Though in recent weeks we'd been arguing so much, so I finally got tempted to stray by this tall, dark, and handsome guy. I know it's not my husband's baby because he has not ejaculated inside me for 4 years to avoid an unplanned pregnancy like this. Even on my non-fertile days he pulls out. Plus we were not intimate in the days I apparently was fertile for the month, which I didn't calculate until I started feeling symptoms. I got husband to come in me and in a few weeks plan on telling him I'm pregnant. I told the sperm donor this because felt like he should know for some reason, and he kinda laughed and said I was crazy and it's fucked up. It does sound fucked up, but my reasons are valid to me. I feel like it's better for baby and me. My husband works hard to provide, and this mistake I made I realized is so irresponsible. Not concerned about impregnating a married woman, basically could give two fucks. Don't know if his family would be any better. My in-laws are lovely, decent people on the other hand. Better to have his family. My main concern is my husband at this moment, who I can't stand the thought of hurting over this ugly truth I'm confessing. The betrayal he's going to feel to the point that we may not recover. Not sure if he'd stay, but I don't want to lose him. On the other hand, the guilt is overwhelming. Living a lie for the three of us. If he eventually realized years beyond, he'd still feel hurt and betrayed, except he would be attached to the kid by then. What seems worse, now or later? I had an affair, now I have a broken heart. I, 33 female, have been married to my husband for almost 5 years. About a year and a half ago, I sought out an affair partner online. I have a lot of reasons why, but none of them are good. The man I met was also married and in a similar situation. At the time, I had no intention of becoming attached to this person or leaving my marriage. The affair started off very hot and heavy. There was an intense sexual chemistry between us, as well as a deep emotional bond that started to form. He told me he was in love with me fairly early on. About 3 months into the affair, his wife discovered it because he, like an idiot, had photos of me all over his computer and was using a photo of the two of us as his desktop background. His wife confronted him but wanted to reconcile. He declined, told her he was in love with me, moved out, and started his divorce proceedings. He asked me to leave my husband, and I told him that was not something I was willing to do right now. I told my husband of the affair. He opted to continue our marriage. After this, I stopped talking to my affair partner. I wanted him to heal and to move on. I wanted to try to work on my marriage. During our many months of non-communication, I became deeply depressed and realized how important he was to me. My marriage did not improve and I began to feel trapped. I don't want to make excuses, I just want to explain this well. I did not reach out to him because I was trying not to interfere with his life. However, several months ago, he reached out to me and told me that he had never moved on. Never stopped thinking about me, loved me, and wanted to be in contact again. Things rekindled quickly, and with my newfound perspective I fell very deeply in love with him. Last month, I found out he had a girlfriend. He accidentally sent a text meant for her to me. When I asked him about this, he said it was a casual relationship, that he needed something to fill the void while he waited for me to decide what to do with my life. He called her an outlet. While I was upset he had not told me, I understood his position as I was still married and our contact was sporadic. I didn't own him. He was a single man and was free to live his life how he wanted. But then, 2 weeks later, he revealed that this woman was actually his girlfriend of over 1 year. He actually met and began dating her 2 months after our affair and his marriage ended. He continued to assure me that he was not in love with her. He was in love with me. He wanted me and he would have zero issues leaving her should I ever finally decide to leave my husband. This past weekend, we had a very rare opportunity to spend the night together. I was visiting someone in another state and staying in a hotel. He met me at the hotel and we had an incredible night together. He talked about our future, how badly he wanted me to be his wife, how much he loved me. When he left that morning, I was a complete wreck. I realized I needed to make a decision very quickly about what to do with my marriage and this man because I couldn't continue to do both. Shortly after he left, I texted him that I had made my decision and would leave my husband for him. Unexpectedly, or perhaps I am just very naive, he freaked out, like complete meltdown style. We had a huge fight where he eventually told me that he couldn't leave his girlfriend. He insisted that he hadn't been leading me on, but hadn't realized until the choice was in front of him that I wasn't worth the risk of the happiness he currently had with her. That was 3 days ago. I've barely eaten, barely slept. Did I have this coming? Absolutely. Does it make it hurt any less? No. I still haven't decided what to do with myself. I could barely breathe when he told me he didn't want to be with me. I am aware that being with someone who had previously cheated on his wife and then lied about having a girlfriend, this shouldn't have been surprising. But it was. I had felt that while he and I were liars to the rest of the world, we had a safe haven between us where we could be ourselves. I can't talk about this to anyone for obvious reasons, but I just needed to get it off my chest and out there into the world.